Hey guys, the ball has dropped on Modern Warfare 4. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Scruffy Charms. He made a video earlier than me. His video is great. It has a lot of good stuff in it. I'm going to go over some of the stuff he pointed out. Please go check out his channel. But there's also some stuff that I noticed that I want to point out. And it all kind of started with Robert Bowling. If you don't remember who Robert Bowling is, he worked with Infinity Ward for years. He helped create the Modern Warfare series. It's kind of like his baby. Now he works with EA, but he still interacts with people at Infinity Ward. And he kind of hinted at Modern Warfare 4 earlier this year. Somebody was tweeting at him complaining that all the Call of Duties are futuristic and he's tired of the futuristic scene. He wants it to go back. And Robert Bowling replied, "Don't worry, you are going to get a modern first person shooter this year." But he never mentioned Modern Warfare 4. But then he tweeted this, and it's like he's giving tips on what to do to make Modern Warfare 4 a great release. And he says, release Modern Warfare 4, include single player, multiplayer, and co op. Take Blackout F2P before the launch. Release a new Modern Warfare map for Blackout with new Modern Warfare themed season in Q4 2019. Include locations for Crash, Overgrown, and Favela. Maintain it as the default Battle Royale mode for the series. You're welcome. He says you're welcome as if he's giving a tip to somebody trying to help them out, and I thought that was weird until I looked at the time frame he posted it, which was 2:21 p.m. 2 hours later, pretty much, was the Activision um, conference call with investors. Now, that conference call with investors is when they're giving out the ideas that they have for the year, in a way to promise investors their success. They're pretty much explaining how they are planning to be successful that year with games like Call of Duty. Now, I'm going to go over pieces of the conference call that regard this upcoming Call of Duty. So just listen to the first time they start to mention Q4 2019.
We will continue to optimize in-game content this year to drive ongoing engagement and player investment. And in Q4, we will have another major launch for the franchise that will appeal broadly to both existing and new fans with what I can only describe now as a great step forward in the franchise that is also rooted in some of the franchise's most important history.
So it will appeal to existing and new fans and is deeply rooted in the franchise's most important history. When you think of the franchise's most important history when it comes to Infinity Ward Call of Duties, obviously is Modern Warfare. Call of Duty Ghost is not an important part of Call of Duty's history. Infinite Warfare is not a part of Call of Duty's important history. It's not even history. It's the most recent game. Obviously, they're referring to the Modern Warfare series, but there's more.
We have high expectations for the game, but for modeling purposes, we are conservatively planning on upfront Q4 unit sales to be lower than Black Ops 4.
Now, here's where we get into the business end of things. They say they are expecting lower unit sales. Now, this sounds to me like what was also pointed out by Scruffy Charms is that they are lowballing to investors. Lowballing is when you give them low expectations, and then when you surpass those expectations, it looks really good to investors in the long run. But also, I think there may be some truth to lower unit sales, especially in the beginning when it comes to pre-orders. See, back in the day, pre-orders were good, and then sales after the game came out were good. But now they put so much into pre-orders because they made a science out of building up hype. The best way to describe hype nowadays is just a company's ability to build up expectation and excitement for a game to the point where fans buy it before they know much about it, let alone have even played it. The problem is, after that hype builds up and people, are persuaded to buy the game, then they play it, people get their hands on it, and sales start to actually die down. When it wasn't like that with the earlier Call of Duties, once people got their hands on them, they actually wanted to play them more, and more people got involved from experiencing Call of Duty. They didn't need all those commercials. Back in the day, it was one commercial online, and they announced the game was out. The rest of the hype was built up by the fans. Now they have several commercials. They have it on national television. They have commercials going all over YouTube. Um, they have billboards all over the world to build up this hype and get the information out, and they get tons of pre-orders, but then the sales drop off dramatically as soon as people actually get their hands on the game. It's easy to build up hype for a new concept. So it's easy to build up hype for a game based in the future where you're going to be adding all this extra crazy stuff that doesn't really exist and is all spawn of your imagination. But when you try to build up hype for an older series, a lot of people see it as, oh, well, that series, is done. This is just kind of like a reboot. I'm not that interested, especially with younger fans who have the attention span of a damn goldfish. So I think that's what they're expecting. But at the same time, I think the sales will be incredibly better after people get their hands on their game in comparison to the past, let's say, 6 Call of Duties, once people actually got their hands on the game.
Segment operating income is also expected to be lower due to the following factors. First, we are planning to invest more in Call of Duty this year, including to support platform and geographic expansion.
If you missed that, he said platform expansion, which means consoles, which means expanding to different platforms with upcoming consoles. Um, I do not personally believe this means cross platform expansion, like people are hoping. I really do think that this is for next gen.
And then if I look even further ahead to what Dennis mentioned, it's worth mentioning again, this fall's launch, I think, is going to resonate very powerfully with our community. It is an amazing game. It's going to feature an entirely new campaign, a huge and expansive multiplayer world, and of course, some fun co-op gameplay.
So he points out that there's going to be a brand new campaign. There's going to be an expansive multiplayer world, which is obviously going to be another battle royale like Blackout. But then he says that there's going to be a fun co-op gameplay. Notice he doesn't say a new zombies experience, which is kind of surprising because you may think, oh, well, maybe they're just trying to keep it secret. It would make sense to keep it secret if it was the first time that they had done a zombies mode. But if it's not the first time, they've already done zombies before. So if they were going to do another zombies mode, it would be no secret just to say another zombies experience, as similarly has been done by Sledgehammer and Treyarch. I think the new co-op is not going to be zombies. I think it is going to be something different or that they're bringing back. As you'll hear in the next audio clip, they express the excitement among the employees at Infinity Ward about just the name of the title they're working on. Of course, they don't mention the name, they try to keep that hush, but they're saying just the title itself has gotten so much morale from the employees at Infinity Ward. They can't wait to work on this title because it holds so much weight. I mean, think about it, it's the Modern Warfare series. But something that was really popular with the Modern Warfare series that people have begged to bring back is Spec Ops. That was an amazing co-op experience. It holds a lot of nostalgia with a lot of people. A lot of people miss it, especially the hardcore Modern Warfare fans, which me and many others are. And I'm sure so are many of the employees at Infinity Ward. I feel like it would be an injustice to bring back Modern Warfare without Spec Ops, and I'm pretty sure they feel the same way. At least that's what I'm predicting from them saying a co-op experience instead of a new zombies experience.
But from day one, what gets me really excited is every time we've shown this title internally, it's just created a ton of buzz. Now, I wish I could tell you a lot more right now, but unfortunately, you're going to have to wait. But I think it's going to be really worth it. We can't wait to share it with the world. So thanks for the question, Ray.
I would just add, Ray, it's Bobby, that that when you look over the last decade of Call of Duty content, I think that Rob is underselling what the internal enthusiasm is. I haven't seen this much enthusiasm that I can remember almost ever. So we're excited about the fall release of Call of Duty content.
So yeah, they are all super excited. I don't know if you noticed, but at the end when he said the release of Fall's like Call of Duty, he almost says Modern Warfare right at the end. That was something pointed out that I had missed. That was something pointed out by Scruffy Charms. Please go check out his channel. He has a great video as well. Please keep the conversation going. If you find anything else that's new, comment me, message me. I'll give you a shout out, and I'll catch you guys next time.